Hey, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about what it's been like for me to be on the carnivore diet for 100 days. That's right, it's been 100 days of something I didn't know I could do for 2 days. So to start off, I want to say thank you for everybody that's been engaging with the last couple of videos. I talked about the 90 days on carnivore diet, and just a thank you to everybody that's watched and commented and everything. And there's not going to be really a lot of change that's happened between the 90 days and now. It's been only 10 days. But I do think there's an opportunity to answer some of the questions and address some statements that were made during the 90-day video and the preceding thank you video. So we'll get started there. So there was a bit of a focus on talking about the weight loss that I've had over the years. It's been, from my peak, it's been 70 something pounds that I've lost, and I'm actually, fingers crossed, tomorrow I might be waking up under 200 pounds, which will be a long time since I've been there. But I don't want to come off as if the only thing I care about is the number on the scale. Ultimately, I have this vision of the future. Now I'm about 14 months from turning 40. I've never had a six-pack, but I feel like I'm getting pretty close. I can start seeing some definition in the abs and stuff. So ultimately what I'm trying to say, I'm kind of getting off track. Ultimately what I'm trying to say is I really don't care what the scale says. I really want to just have a good body fat percentage that makes me feel good when I'm at the beach, because I live in Florida, and my wife and kids, they like to go to the beach, so there's going to be some times we're going to have to do that. Plus we have a pool, and it would just be nice to not have to feel so self-conscious when there's pictures being taken. So that's the main goal. But also when I was in the military, we talked a lot about BMI, and for my height, 194 is supposed to be maybe it was 190. Yeah, it's 194 is supposed to be the healthy BMI. Being below the marker for the BMI, that's where I'm supposed to be at. So it'd be nice to be there, in addition to maybe someday being a cover model on a magazine, as long as I don't show my face, because I don't think I got face for a magazine, more so for radio, which I don't know why you're watching me on YouTube if I got face for radio. I'll move on. That being said, I think I'm probably going to have a hard time getting a six-pack for quite a while, because I don't really work out. All of this has just been diet and just being consistent with what I eat. It's really simple. It's beef, bacon, butter, and eggs, pretty much. There's more stuff going in there. I'll eat ribs or something like that. It's what it is. But ultimately, everything that I've been able to accomplish when it comes to weight and fat loss over the past few months has been almost 100% because of diet. I've worked out occasionally. I did some push-ups with my son or something like that, but nothing rigorous. In the comments, I noticed a couple times people asking about the cost of being carnivore and how it's expensive. I don't know. At first, I thought that it's definitely going to be expensive, especially because all any carnivore channel ever talks about is ribeyes, 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 and that sounds like if you're eating ribeyes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's going to be a lot of money, because I think it's like $15 a pound at Walmart or something like that for a nice cut of a ribeye. And so if you ate 3 times a day, that's like $45, because you're going to eat a pound of meat each time you eat. The thing that I found though on carnivore diet is I really only eat once, twice a day. And really, before I ever started carnivore diet, I had done some fasting. I read this book, I think it's by Dr. Jason Fung, called The Obesity Code. It talks a lot about fasting. And I went through a period of time where I would just fast, and I didn't have a specific diet. I was just doing intermittent fasting, and sometimes extended fasts. The farthest I ever got was 4 days, so it's nothing special. But 4 days, that's kind of a long time to go without food. But I brought that into carnivore not because I want to be fasting, but because I really don't get that hungry. I think it has something to do with being fat adapted. I know I'm no scientist, but It seems that at the beginning of being on carnivore, it was a bit more challenging because I was used to eating more often. But over time, I just thought less and less about food. And really, some days I could probably go without eating, but I like food. I like the taste. I like the activity of eating. And so I really, most days, only eat once. So if you're only eating once a day and you're eating a ribeye every single time, that's $15 a day on a full pound of a ribeye. But I often eat ground beef. And if I eat the fattiest ground beef there is, the 80/20 or like 73/18 or 8/17, whatever the math turns out to be. You get my point. You get a pound of ground beef for less than $5. You can eat a whole pound. And then if you are really hungry, you could eat 2 pounds. Now that does get old after a while. Instead of just browning ground beef, you could turn it into burgers or whatever. Put some cheese. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. But eventually, it does taste good, but you're going to get full. And 2 pounds is probably enough for anybody. I'm over 6 foot, 200 and something pounds, and if it'll feed me, I know it'll feed pretty much anybody. So $10 a day is, I mean, I don't know what everybody's budget is, but that feeds me quite well. So I don't think it's that expensive. Now, if you're talking about trying to do it for a whole family, maybe, but it's just me and my 2 kids and my wife. But I'm the only one that's doing this carnivore thing, and it works for us. Really, the grocery bill hasn't gotten any more expensive than what it was before I was carnivore. Sometimes when I'm in a pinch and I'm just in a hurry, I'll stop by McDonald's or Wendy's. They have these beef patties. I'll go through McDonald's and get 5 or 6 quarter-pound patties, just plain, no cheese, nothing like that. And if you go through the app, the McDonald's app, this is not sponsored, by the way, in no way. It's just what I do in my daily life. If you go through the app, oftentimes they have like a 20 or 25% off on their mobile app. And so you can get quarter-pound patties and pick them up to the drive-thru or whatever, and you can get 5 or 6 of them the way I get them for like $7 to $9. Now, the price varies per McDonald's restaurant. I guess, I don't know why. But the first thing you have to do in order to get this, because you can't like find it a la carte on their mobile menu, you have to go in or go to the drive-thru, order it that way, and then make sure you have it scanned through your app, however you do the little QR code or whatnot, and then it'll save that as a previous order, and then now you can repeat order it in the future. Now, sometimes I don't know if they do it. This could be a whole freaking video just talking about McDonald's, but they're 100% beef. They only cook it in the beef fats. Same for Wendy's, and so it's what it is. But when you go up to, one time I did go to a McDonald's and they said there would be like $20-something, and I was like, hey, I'm just getting the patties. I'm not getting the whole burger, and they were like, yes. So I didn't order from there because I knew I could just go down the road and it'd be $7 to $9 for 1.5 pounds of meat. So that's kind of on the more expensive side because I'm getting it at a restaurant, but it's cooked and it's salted and it's usually delicious and fresh and delicious. Anyways, I want to move on. I could talk about McDonald's all day because it makes life easy. Again, moving on. Speaking of McDonald's, dining out. I just made it seem like dining out's really easy, but well, it's pretty easy. But going to specific restaurants or specific types of restaurants makes it easier. If a restaurant has steak, you're good to go. The problem is when you're only eating steak and you don't want the sides, a lot of them I found don't reduce the price just because you're not getting the sides. But what I have found is that if you ask, you can get bigger cuts of steak. If you're like hungry and you can eat bigger pieces of steak, they'll just customize your order and charge you a little bit extra if needed. But believe me, if you like steak, eating it out is expensive. But if you like steak enough, you'll learn how to make steak. And there are so many videos out there, and I'll probably start making some videos about it. There's so many videos out there teaching how to cook steak to like the perfect doneness and how to salt them and let them sit for X amount of time and all that. You start to become a connoisseur of making the perfect steak. And I just made a steak tonight, and it was delicious. Tip: get a cast iron skillet. Is the carnivore diet hard? I think it's harder in the beginning than it is now. When I first started, one, just getting started on a diet in general, when I wasn't dieting. I'll tell you what I was doing before I was dieting. Before I was dieting, every morning I'd stop at the gas station. I'd get me a couple breakfast sandwiches and a king size Reese, and not just any Reese. I really like the Reese's that are like shaped for the holidays. It doesn't have like the jagged edge on the outside. Those are the best ones. Now, if they don't have those, like the pumpkins or the footballs or the heart shapes or something like that, I'll break down and eat regular Reese cups. But definitely Reese's are my favorite. So I'll get that. It's a soda, energy drink. Eat all that on my way to work. Once I get to work, they got snacks there, and on my way home, I might stop and get something. And then get home and I'll eat dinner with the family, and then I'm going to snack and watch TV, probably have some dessert, and a few Oreos doesn't do it. I got to eat like a whole sleeve, and every time that happens, it's like, okay, I'm going to start my diet tomorrow, but I got to binge tonight, and tonight turns into I'm staying up late and it's tomorrow morning already, so I'm going to start Monday when I get a whole weekend, and it just spirals. And it's the hardest part of getting onto a diet is starting the diet. I think that first couple days, finally getting the commitment, that's the hardest part. Then, particularly because you're carnivore or even keto, I think that cutting out carbohydrates and being able to transition away from carbohydrates, that's probably the most challenging part. I'm no expert. I haven't done it a bunch of times going through keto or getting on carnivore, but it only took about a week or so before I kind of stopped thinking about carbohydrates. Now, occasionally I do think about it whenever there's some bread cooking or we're sitting at Red Lobster, I'm about to get some crab legs, and that cheddar biscuit comes out. They look pretty good and they smell good too, but it just takes that little bit of willpower. And one thing that kept me, again, we're going back to eating out, but one thing that kept me from cheating like that was I just kept envisioning what I want for the future. And being on the 90-day challenge really helped too, because I was just like, I only got 45 more days, and if I really want to quit, I can quit. But we're getting distracted. The point is I feel like it is harder at the beginning, but if you can push through it and get to day 15, day 20, those days, it starts to really get easier. And now I'm at day 100, and it feels like, I don't know, I think it feels like I could go forever. And that's my plan. My plan is to go forever, because I'll tell you what, I am a carboholic, I'm a sugarholic, and if I have a little bit, I might go off the bandwagon and never come back. So I don't want to take the chances, because it scares me to think that I could just, anyways. All right, the next thing wasn't a question that I received over the last couple of videos, but it's just something I feel like we should talk about, and that's the stuff you drink when you're carnivore. I drink water and I drink coffee. Now, coffee is kind of controversial when it comes to the carnivore diet, but I think do what you want. I mean, it's coffee, it tastes good, and it gives you caffeine. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the smell. During my 90 days, I didn't use any dairy, so I just drank coffee black. Now that I'm out of my 90 days, I've been introducing half and half and heavy cream. So do what you do. Some people, they love not having coffee. They just drink water. I did go a little bit of time without coffee, but it's just, for me, I like to drink it with my wife. I like to drink it on the way to work. It just it just sets my day up. So if you are having digestive issues, you might want to cut out dairy or coffee. I've heard that kind of gets things going, and it might get things going too fast, but it doesn't really affect me much. Now the water is a different story. I like water just as much as the next person does. I mean, it doesn't really have a bunch of flavor, but what I really love most is Coke Diet Coke, and all those sodas. I drank tons of sodas before I started Carnivore, and one of the things I really wanted to work on was not drinking sodas anymore. So I have a soda stream, and the soda stream itself is supposed to help you make Cokes and stuff at home, but if you don't have the syrup and you just get carbonated water, I live off carbonated water, and to me it tastes good. I like carbonated water just plain. I don't put anything in it. Some people might take the liberty of putting some lime juice or something in there that would kind of pep the flavor up, but then again, that's not really meats. But you do what you feel good doing, whatever can keep you going and keep you staying on track of not eating junk food and unhealthy things. I think that's what you got to do. So I'm just rattling off right now with a bunch of different topics. This isn't like a super focused video. This is just a 100-day check-in. And I just want to take one last moment to say again, thank you to everybody that's been watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for just all the support. Been lots of friendly people down in the comments. I appreciate all the feedback. And if you have anything, if you have some inspirational story you want to share, please put it in the comments. I love engaging with everybody down there, and I look forward to the next video. I think we're going to start getting into some, maybe just sharing specific advice. This was like a collaboration of like different things that I was able to put together, but I'm going to start having like some focus videos of just talking about particular topics. If you guys have any questions or anything, please drop them in the comments, and I'll put it on the list of videos to make. So I appreciate your time, and I'll be seeing you soon. One last thing, if you want to check out that 90-day carnivore completion video, you can check it out at whichever one's on the top video. I don't know which side it's going to turn out on, but the one on top, there's going to be two videos. One that YouTube's going to recommend that you watch, and then I'm going to select the 90-day thing up here, so, or over there. Whichever way it is, it's the one on top. See you later.